Hello and welcome to my review for Superliminal, a puzzle game where perception is key. But is it worth playing? I'm a puzzle game enthusiast, so how does it hold up compared to all the classics this game takes inspiration from, like Portal and the Stanley Parable? The game has actually been around since November 19, but unfortunately managed to slip past me completely unnoticed, until it came to Game Pass earlier this month. So, while I may be late to the game, I'm sure there's others out there who have just noticed it and are wondering what it's all about. Although this perception warping game may have you wondering if your eyes can be trusted, this video does exactly what it says on the thumbnail. So, let us begin. And be warned, there are spoilers ahead, but no solutions to puzzles. The Superliminal is a first-person puzzle video game about dreams and dream logic, or lack thereof. We play as a patient of Dr. Glenn Pierce, testing out his dream therapy program called Somnosculpt. As part of this program, patients are put to sleep and placed in a testing environment constructed in their dream world. The aim of the therapy is to encourage patients to complete a series of challenges to find a peace of mind and overcome the negative emotions holding them back, such as self-doubt and feelings of inadequacy. The program wants you to be able to view your real-life problems from a different perspective. Seems logical, doesn't it? Within this dream world, perception is key, which is demonstrated with some chess pieces before you encounter the first puzzle. Basically, if I was to take a small chess piece from the table and hold it up in front of me, it would appear large against the background. Obviously this isn't the case, as it just appears to be larger due to being right up in my face. But this game flips this basic law of physics on its head. As soon as you release the chess piece, it becomes the size it appears to be. Once you wrap your head around this unique concept of first-person perspective, solving the puzzles becomes relatively straightforward. This mechanic for resizing items is extremely satisfying, especially when you take something tiny and turn it into a gargantuan fan that slow-mo crashes into the ground. This works the other way too. You can lift up something large and far away and reduce it to the size of something that can fit into your hand. There's also optical illusions where something appears to be a solid object, but as you move closer, it's actually just painted on the wall and floor. These illusions in particular actually made me feel kind of motion sick. Due to this, I did actually have to stop playing when it got particularly bad. I am susceptible to motion sickness though, and really struggle with VR games for this reason, so I would like to think that most people would be relatively unaffected. Whilst feeling somewhat nauseous, I was pretty impressed that the game even managed to trigger that reaction in me. There are also objects to interact with that spawn infinite numbers of duplicates, objects that only appear to you if you're looking at them at the correct angle, and many more. So while the overall gimmick of this game involves perception, there is so much more to it. For this reason, the game never really felt stale to me and managed to keep the old brain working right until the end. While we were having so much fun within the dream world, we don't wake up at our appointed time, ending up back inside it. This prompts some concern from Dr. Pierce over the radio, who explains that he has lost track of us as we progress through more and more dream layers, which get progressively more disorientating. An AI woman who is administering the therapy advises me to initiate an explosive mental overload in order to trigger the emergency exit protocol and escape the dream world. Naturally, this leaves the game spiralling into a truly surreal direction. I wouldn't say that the puzzles are too easy, but the majority of the time they didn't keep me stumped for very long. There was a certain hallway puzzle towards the end of the game that I remain unimpressed with though. It doesn't use the depth perception gimmick, which is fine because some of the other puzzles do involve other mechanics. But to me this puzzle just made no sense. I'm sure you'll realise exactly which one I'm talking about if you play this game. In the end, I searched on YouTube for the solution, and instead of giving me a light bulb moment that made me slap my forehead and proclaim how dumb I am, I questioned how anyone was supposed to work that out. This was the only puzzle that made me feel this way though, so overall it didn't give me a negative view of the game. I just found it frustrating and it broke the seamless flow of the game that I'd enjoyed so far. For a short game, coming in at around 2 hours, I did feel that it dragged a bit in places. The only thing driving the story forward is voice clips from Dr. Pierce over the radios, which I didn't really find drove the narrative forward enough. I also occasionally got chastised by the AI woman for not dreaming properly. For a game so cerebral, the story was really lacking, especially when held up against the two games it is compared to, the Stanley Parable and Portal. both of which prove that you can have a compelling story embedded within essentially a series of puzzles. Superliminal definitely delivered on the puzzles, but I could discuss pretty much the entirety of the story without feeling like I'm spoiling anything. There wasn't a big twist at the end either, just an inspirational message about how to overcome challenges in the real world. The game was first conceived by Albert Shih back in 2013 as part of a programming assignment while he was an undergraduate at the Entertainment Technology Centre at Carnegie Mellon University. In 2014, he founded Pillow Castle whilst improving on the initial concept. A 6-member team developed the game, which finally saw release on Windows and the Epic Store in November 2019, followed by PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Switch in July 2020. Finally followed by Steam in November 2020 and Game Pass in September 2021. This staggered release at least goes some way towards explaining how I managed to totally miss it. Superliminal is a fun but short puzzle game with a unique concept that doesn't feel fully fleshed out. The lack of narrative does hurt the game, but the well-designed puzzle mechanics take the edge off any of this disappointment. As a fan of puzzle games, I did enjoy it and would recommend it if you're looking for something to kill an afternoon. But it did leave me asking, is that all? This view does seem to be consistent over both critic and user reviews, so this opinion is certainly shared by many others. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please do consider hitting that button. Let me know what you think in the comments as well, and I'll be back for another review soon.